Hello everyone and thank you for tuning into Wowhead Weekly number 70. We have a lot to talk about today with a new alpha build as well as some new stuff on live. So without further ado, I would love to introduce my wonderful co-host, Wowhead Site Manager Perculia.
Hey everyone! Again, we had a new build, so we've had a ton of news in the past few weeks, and it's Pepe's third birthday. So happy birthday, Pepe! He
Happy
has a
birthday,
hat,
Pepe!
and he'll be in the news as well. So without further ado, we should get into talking about the new build highlights and models and all of that Legion Alpha Beta stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was a new build that went up this week, and there was a lot of stuff in it. I know this is not in order of our notes, but I really want to talk about this because it caused so
Okay.
much uproar. Rarely does something cause so much uproar in the community that
I know.
Blizzard fixes it in like 24 hours. And we
Yeah.
witnessed that happen this week. You may or may not have heard that originally. Now, don't panic yet because this has already been changed, so I don't want you guys to like freak out. But Blizzard had originally stated that once Legion hit, Water Striders would only be usable in Pandaria and Draenor. They wouldn't be usable in Old World or in the new Broken Isle area in
Yeah.
Legion. And people were like so angry.
Yeah, it was like, oh, why do I need two of them? Or like, oh, this one only works in Pandaria and then the Garrison one's only in Draenor. So there was a lot of upset.
Yeah, people were super, super upset about it. And there was a lot of good reasons for why they were upset. But then I also sort of understood Blizzard's logic. Because the logic that Blizzard has was, well, these things weren't available before Mists of Pandaria or Draenor, so we'll have those locked to certain zones, and then you're going to get this water walking perk once you're in Legion, so all's well in the world. But not so much. People were pretty upset about it, particularly because of like low-level alt type stuff. You wouldn't be able to use those to kind of speed up questing. Plus, a lot of people really like the Water Strider and the actual
Yeah,
look of the
they have a
Water
unique
Strider.
model. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like a wolf or a horse. It's like there's only two of them that
Yeah,
have
yeah.
fur.
And they
And
have
it took
really
a lot of work to get them.
Yeah, it did. I don't have the red one. I only have the blue one. And it does take a long time to get them. I think the blue one took me like almost 6 straight weeks of dailies to get. And I mean, they have all these really cute animations, and that is actually a mount that I have set in my favorites. So I use it even when I'm not on
Yeah.
water because it's just a cute mount and it has cool animations and
Yeah, the Draenor one takes like a ton of lunkers, which takes
Yeah.
forever to finish up. So like,
yeah, which is why I don't
it's
have
a
it.
prestige one.
Which is why I don't have it. So, but never fear, Blizzard actually did revert these changes the very next day. So as of right now, all of that is null and void. You will be able to use your Water Strider anywhere, including in Legion. But there still is planned to be a water walking perk as part of the fishing artifact.
Yeah, the fishing artifact hasn't been something they've actually confirmed, but we at one point they had the spells for the artifact in the data, and then they also have models for this artifact in the data. We've seen some fishing quests here and there, so it's probably going to be a thing. And another interesting thing I wanted to touch on was that at one point Blizzard said they were concerned that people were just using the Water Strider and not their other cosmetic mounts, and they thought that removing the buff and the utility would help with that, but they decided that like it just created more problems than it solved.
Well, it's just silly too because even if people are only using, if they're using a mount, like whether they're using the mount for the cosmetic reason of this is a cool mount, I like this mount, or whether they're using it because it has a specific functionality, which another example they gave was like the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. It doesn't matter. If you earn that mount, you should be able to use it.
I also feel like the thing that will get people using their cosmetic mounts is having a central city like Dalaran where you get to show off things in. I mean,
Absolutely.
versus like, oh, I'm in the garrison. Like the point of the cosmetic mount is to show off to other people, and you need to be around other people.
Absolutely, because you see a lot of that when you go to like Hellfire Citadel now. When people
Yeah.
are waiting outside for raid times, people are getting on their really cool mounts and like
Right.
kind of showing off. And you used to see that constantly. There was always like one guy in the main city who was just rotating through all of his mounts, and you're like, "We get
Yep.
it. You have
The
every
Ironborn
mount
Straight.
ever. We
Yeah.
get it." So
Yep.
you know, I'm excited for that aspect of the game to return. And I'm not sure if my Water Strider is the one that I'll be showing off, but I do have a couple trading card game mounts that are pretty cool, if I do say so myself. But we can go ahead and backtrack to some of the stuff that was actually early on in our notes.
Rewind.
The first of which being that there's no new specs to try out and there's no new questing zones open in this build.
Yeah, so this build had a lot of class tuning tweaks, and I know people are impatient to try new things, but they really want to focus, I guess, on responding to feedback right now and just, tweaking numbers and moving talents around and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there are new dungeons, and they're super
Yes.
cool. I love
Yes.
these. Like, they're very night elven lore,
Of
and oh
course
my
you
God,
like
yeah.
them. I know. So
Yes.
I made a slideshow of each one. This is the first one. It's called Eye of Ajara. I should have made these pictures stay on longer. I'm sorry. I never do this properly. We'll let it go through twice. And then in a second, we're going to see the other new dungeon, which is called...
The Archway.
Oh man, I was hoping to line it up with the picture. The Archway. This one starts the Archway. The outside one is Eye of Ajara. The inside one is the Archway.
And it's super cool because one of them, it's like the remaining Naga that are protecting Ashara's magic, and then for the Archway dungeon, it's super pretty. It's meant to be like it was renamed after the Suramar catacombs, and it has sort of like this like Nightborn dark elf lore to it, and people are saying it reminds them of Karazhan,
I
but
was
for
gonna
night elves.
say,
And
I got like a Karazhan vibe
spiral
from it.
staircases, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I always love when you see stuff like that, like libraries and stuff like that, because of course all these all these things are doing magic, and they had to have learned that from somewhere. And I love seeing like all the old books piled up in the cobwebs, and it definitely does have a Karazhan vibe to it, but it's certainly not like, oh, the devs got lazy and they just stuck part of Karazhan in this dungeon. Like, it's obviously not the same. It just kind of gives that nostalgic vibe, which I really like. I also think it's cool that in the Eye of Ajara, you can see, like, Dalaran, like, floating in the background.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Another neat thing about that dungeon is apparently, I forget the names of the buffs, but when you kill each boss, you get a debuff in the zone. So you want to think about which order you kill them in. Like, one of them is a little wind gust, another one puts down electrical stuff on the ground. So that might be interesting for challenge modes when,
Yeah.
Which debuff is the most annoying versus the least annoying.
Yeah, that's really neat. Now, there was some other stuff that happened, too, along with the Eye of Ajara and the Archway dungeons. Some of the class order halls got visual updates, including the Priest and Shaman order halls, which I haven't been on to see the Shaman order hall since that happened because... like I'm like deeply,
there's a lot more there's a lot more mist, so
great.
That isn't the super exciting one.
Excellent.
But in the Priest Shadow Hall, the Priest Hall has the central area, then there's a Holy Wing and a Shadow Wing, and in the Shadow Wing they added these walls of these spooky candles. So it looks like a dark altar now, and it's super pretty.
Oh, that's
cool. It's very purple and candles, and yeah, it is really cool ambiance. Before it's kind of empty, and now it has extra stuff. And there are also these elementals, these golden sort of Khadgar elementals walking around.
That's neat.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of like visual things that they've added to this expansion. Like obviously we've seen all the updates in Dalaran, but they just added a coffee shop to Dalaran as well.
Yeah, that was really fun to see. I wish we had a picture of this, but yeah, the Ledger Domain Lounge, which was the location for one of the Rathdales where you had to grab the wine glasses lying around. They changed that like full on into a coffee shop. So there's there's like a coffee machine, and there's coffee machine sounds, and there's piles of coffee mugs, and it looks a little less, winery, fine restaurant, and more down to earth coffee shop. So
which would make sense to be in Dalaran. Like we're just coming and we're getting our armor, and we're gonna get a glass of ogre bucks.
Exactly.
And move on.
Plus, you have Lions and Horde Inns, like they have all the fancy dining, so it makes sense to try and diversify. They're right across from the wine shop, so I don't know if there's gonna be like a rivalry about if you want your coffee or your alcohol. But
I want both.
Exactly.
I want both. And this was another thing that upset a lot of people is that we found out.
Curious about this, like
no, I feel good about this. I like this, and I think I'm in the minority. Apparently, you are too. So welcome to the bottom. Now we're here. But in Legion, garrison gold missions are non-existent, and all of your followers that have gold perks, their perk will be changed to usually it's like garrison resources and stuff. And the logic behind this is that Blizzard doesn't want you parking your 10 alts in their garrison and just making tons and tons of money without doing anything. So, but a lot of people are upset about this, but I don't know. I don't see a cause for...
Like, Legion is coming. I want to sit in my garrison. Like, that that doesn't sound good.
Well,
And like everyone's always saying they want to get out and they want to be doing things, and this is like the opposite of that sort of behavior.
yeah,
They're
absolutely.
just sitting and not doing anything.
Well, and it seems like this was one of the things that I said before Warlords of Draenor came out, that with the garrison we would see like the death of true alts. Like we would see like really you used to see people like all the time had 2 or 3 characters that were at the same level of gear. They were interchangeable in raid situations, and between the legendary ring, all of the things you have to invest in your garrison, with valor upgrades, with all of these things, it's really not very many people have a couple characters that are equally geared. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not the norm. Like, I'm positive that during ICC, I had 3 characters that were equally geared. I could bring my paladin, my druid, or my mage.
Yeah, and like I just was happy on those 4, and I was happy they could do all these things in Icecrown, but they weren't, gold farming factories. I like playing them just because I could actually do cool stuff with them.
And I feel like I was wrong in the sense that there wouldn't be alts, because I really didn't think anybody would be like, oh, well, I'm going to go do all of this, right? But because the gold was such an incentive, people like I'm guilty of it. I have 6 level 100s, 5 of which I only log in to do my garrison dailies every day, because why would you pass up that gold? You can make like 50K a week, like doing nothing. So I'm really glad that they did this, because it's going to incentivize people to go and level their alts and get to their class halls and get their artifact weapons. And from what we've seen on the alpha, it's very reasonable to think that you could have a couple characters that both had their artifacts maxed out at every... It doesn't seem like it takes too long. It's an investment without being an over investment.
Right. I mean, we haven't seen the full scope of it yet, but it seems pretty normal. Like every alpha build, when they increase the level cap and traits, I don't feel myself starved to get resources somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they did this, but I know a lot of people are upset about it. So to what I say to that is, make sure that between now and then you're doing your garrison missions every day and just stockpile gold in the time being. But
and as a reminder, that will go away when the pre-patch hits, not when Legion hits.
Not when Legion hits, which
and
is
we
kind
don't know
of
when
upsetting.
The pre-patch hits.
Yeah, well, usually the pre-patch, like, I would assume that would come with, like, the event patch. And that's usually, like, a week, 2 weeks before the expansion. I mean, we still have plenty of time. Yeah. And another way to think of this, too, is that, like, every expansion, there's a big gold-making thing. Like, in Burning Crusade, people would go farm primals in Nagrand, and, every expansion, there's a thing that people do.
Remember when it was, like, Cataclysm, they nerfed the gold you could get from a boss, and then people were really upset, but, like, now it's like, oh, if you go farm the boss and you loot all the epics, then you can make a lot of gold again. So like, it just sort of comes around.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where this was the big gold making thing for this expansion. I do hope that like there's something done about like mats too, like enchanting mats and stuff that you can get without being an enchanter. Like, I don't know how I feel about people still, not that those mats will be expensive like in the future, but like, I don't know. I feel like that could be a really underhanded way of making money, but I pretty much would like them to phase out garrison necessity entirely.
I wonder also about the mounts and pets and toys tied to the garrison. Like, do you want someone doing a stables mount grind to get all the stables mounts?
After it's relevant, because there's going to be a lot of stuff. Like, I'm sorry if I didn't mean to interrupt you. I ripped my headphone out like it was an accident. I couldn't hear you. But there's like a lot of things that from your garrison, like if you save now, you're going to make a lot of money. Like Coalfist. Do not sell Coalfist now, guys. Don't do it. It's selling for like a K right now. People aren't going to be doing garrison missions, and for all you know, they might actually take that away.
Or the shipyard, like no one's going to be doing Left Shark.
Yeah, Left Shark is going to be rare. Or like even the the Void Shrouded Satchel that has the trinket.
Trinket.
You can not open that bag, and that trinket's going to sell for a whole lot next expansion, because people aren't going to be doing their garrisons nearly as much, if at all. Without the gold incentive, people are certainly not going to be logging on every day to max out their garrison resources. Right. So, I mean, if you hang on to all that stuff now, definitely worth your pennies in the future.
So,
this is fun. This is fun. So another item was added in this alpha build called the Soft Foam Sword Toy, and it's not just a toy. No. Watch the video and see. Hold on, I gotta do like a quick bam. And then get rid of that. There we go.
Should we let it speak for itself, or should we?
I figured the video's pretty short. It's only like 2 minutes, and then we can kind of talk about it a little. But this is a very cool thing that they added. I'm pretty excited about this.
So as you can see, this is a toy you can get from Dalaran for 50 gold. So pretty easily accessible to anyone.
Wish I had a fast forward button. I'm impatient.
I know.
I am impatient. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Yay. And then you're like, oh no, a mob! And then, oh look, it lost a lot of health. So I believe this video is slightly, it's not meant to work on max level mobs,
Yeah.
but you get the point. I think they actually hotfixed it, but you get the point that this is meant to let you lower the health of mobs for all those like target the weakened NPC like the other rays in Blade's
Yeah.
Edge Mountain. And if you're level 100 and you're going back to do those quests, like it's really hard to weaken them without
Yeah.
one-shotting things.
Mhm.
So the idea is that you use the sword on them and then you get the mob to super low health and you can do the quests very easily. You're not meant to use the sword to
Yeah.
one-shot things
And
in
it
Storm.
doesn't work. I mean, you saw in that it was a mob that was like 105. It doesn't actually work on 105s. That was hot fixed. But you mentioned Blade's Edge Mountains, and it's funny because a couple months ago I did a video on like Star Wars references in World of Warcraft, and I went back I boosted an Alliance character just so I could do this quest. And I went back and I did this quest on this Alliance character because it was only available to Alliance to get some like Star Wars toys and references and
Right,
stuff like that. Yeah. And I had the worst time doing those quests. I had to like take off all of my gear, take off my weapons, and like, oh, it was awful. Like, because there was one quest that you have to like keep them alive at like 10% so that they can like drain their souls. It was terrible. So I'm really glad that they added a toy in that will really help people who want to go back and do Lore Master or get some of those old toys or old, especially now we're going to see with the artifact appearances, like, or not artifact, with the wardrobe appearances. I am much more
those quest rewards.
Yeah, I'm much more interested in going back and doing old quests for the visual appearances of gear, but some of them are so difficult to do, and the foam sword will make that much, much, much more obtainable.
Yeah. So this next thing is something that I was really excited about to write up. We did a spotlight on the Beast Mastery artifact weapon, and I was really excited about this because it tied together a lot of different types of lore, including Ulduar, which is like my favorite raid instance.
I'm going to flip it over to you to talk about this, and let me know when you want the visual.
Okay. So just talking a little bit about the weapon lore at first, it's neat because there's a dwarf archaeology angle because you're helping a friend of Brand Bronzebeard who is actually chilling out in the pet battle shop. So I thought that was kind of cool because Beast Mastery is the one remaining hunter spec that's all about the pet lore. And then he's trying to track down the special weapon, and it's tied into the Rykul because you start talking to a guide who knows where the weapon is hidden in this Rykul tomb. And then, I guess we need spoiler, maybe?
Okay,
yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that. Ready, set, go.
Okay. Yay. So this next part is that it's really exciting how there's Titan lore because you're helping Mimiron and Thorim, who, if you've ever done Ulduar, they are hostile in Ulduar and you are, fighting against them. So it's cool that you're actually helping them, and they have really fun dialogue. Like a common thread through this is that Griff Wildheart, the NPC you're helping, everyone keeps thinking he's Brand Bronzebeard, and he gets really upset by that, and he keeps asking people to stop doing that. So in the first part, you go into the Shield's Rest Tomb in Stormheim, and this is the same location for the Protection Warrior and Protection Paladin artifacts, which on its own might be a little bit repetitive, but it takes you to a lot of different places after this. So you're trying to work with this Rykul to find Titan Strike, and actually inside the tomb, you find Mimiron, who has sort of been like powered off, and you bring him back to life, and he helps you find where Titan Strike is. However, the Rykul runs off with Titan Strike because she wants to infuse herself with the weapon's unique spark and become all powerful. So you are now helping Mimiron like track down where she stole this weapon. And he says really funny things like, oh, those alarms indicate that we're encountering some minor technical difficulties. All you need to do is deactivate the 2 control panels. Oh dear, now there's, system malfunction. And so basically you go back to his lab in Ulduar, And as he's like scanning his computer to figure out where this cool weapon went to, everything in his workshop is going wrong and like stuff is exploding and robots are fighting each other. So you're calming everything down as he's just chattering away about Data. And at one point, he goes, I suppose there's no time like the present. This will either fix everything or destroy us. I need you to press the big red button labeled "Do not push this button."
Do not push this button.
And if you've rated Ulduar, when you hit the button, that would enable Mimiron hard mode, which is considered to be one of the really challenging encounters in the zone. And of course, everyone hit the big red button, and like chaos would ensue. Like there's always one person who didn't do the instance who would just have to hit the button at the time. So after you figure out what's going on in his workshop, it's become clear that she's trying to go to Thorum's throne at the Temple of Thunder, and that's where she's hoping to fuse herself to this artifact weapon. And then you meet up with Thorum, and Thorum is like, thanks for, cleansing Ulduar, it's awesome, we should give you a feast to celebrate, and then this evil Rykul shows up. And you defeat her, but as she dies, she explodes, the weapon explodes, and Thorum's pet wolf, Hati. Oh yeah, you can show this now.
Yay!
Yeah. So Thorum's pet wolf, Hati, absorbs all the energy and is nearly left for dead, but you bind Hati's soul to your own, and it's like, yay, Beast Mastery lore. And like Hati is the power of this artifact weapon. So you've kept the weapon, and the weapon has a special spark inside of this wolf that you have miraculously brought back to life. So the artifact's effect is that when you are using it, when you use the weapon, this beast is periodically summoned to assist you in combat. And there's been a lot of discussion. People are like, oh, it's just the coolest thing ever. This is actually boring because it looks like a wrath wolf and it's really low res compared to other cool pets. And Blizzard has said that it's not in its finished form yet, but I'm kind of okay with the wolf because it's meant to be a throwback to Wrath, and you can still have any other pet out that you like with it. So this doesn't replace a pet, it's just an addition to.
It does seem a little odd to me though. Like I get like, oh, it's a throwback and like it's like supposed to be that reference, particularly because you're in Ulduar, but it also feels like couldn't they have made a new wolf model? Like even though
there is one we found in the data, but it's not tied to anything yet, but there is a lightning wolf. So maybe that will be it.
Yeah, maybe that's sort of like a placeholder in the meantime. It's not so much like, oh, the wolf is the problem. It's more so that like it's not like this exciting new model, which for something so special, maybe it should be an exciting new model, but I don't know. Hunters are super good and they get everything, so I don't really care.
Yeah. One more final note about the Hunter artifact is that the artifact weapon is a gun, but in the data there may be a gnome-inspired bow as an alternate 6 style. And it didn't totally make sense at first, but after looking at the model names again and seeing that like the marksmanship bow was all called Windrunner, and then we've got this other bow that sounds like the gun, and how this makes sense, like I actually got to see Mimiron. It's like, oh, that makes sense that the mechanical gnomes engineering thing comes from. I think it might be cool if at some point there was this alternate bow and they can make that work.
Well, especially since you can already transmog guns into bows and vice versa. So, like, why does it matter if the artifact has both of those styles, in my opinion? And
you want to talk about new models.
I feel like this is a good transition because we were just talking about why doesn't Hati have a new model, but there are a lot of other things that do have new models, and I made a slideshow. So the first thing that you're going to see here is the Falcosaurus mount, which has 4 different colors. We showed you it off last week, and it's basically a feathery raptor. This is the leather working moose, which has fixed animations from the Grove Warden, thank God. Next up is the spider mount, which actually turns your character kind of like pale and creepy and like undead-esque. I hate this mount.
He has really creepy animations in the video. It's awful.
I didn't know. Thank you. That's obviously the Fellhound core mount, and this is the Storm Drake, which we think drops from World Wasp, but we're not sure. So I'll let this go through again so you can see everything. But these are all awesome models, and except for the spiders.
Yeah, another cool thing about the Fell Corehound chain is that it looks like there was a related spell to it that's from crafting, and it seems to be a crafted mount from blacksmithing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people were sad that the Core Hound was either tied to Molten Core or LFR or the Black Market Auction House. So if you want to ride a Core Hound around,
The
maybe you
fell
can get this
one's
version
cooler,
too.
anyways. I mean, just
Yeah.
saying. I really like the fell one. I love the Storm Dragon, though. That's probably my most needed mount of the next expansion. It reminds me of the Derpy Dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
Aw. I just say it reminds me of the Netherwing Drakes, which were the first kind of like big dragon grind in the game. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping there'll be other colors, not just from a world boss.
Yeah, I hope so too. I want to see more mounts tied to rep where there's like 6 different colors and maybe you can only get one at
Yeah.
first, then the end you can get all of them. I don't really care. I just really like that. I like the tattoos on it too. It's really neat.
Yeah.
But those are all super cool, and I can't wait to have them. My hair is a mess today. I don't know what is going on. It's like a bad amount of humidity. I don't know. There were also some lore updates and some character
We should
updates.
put spoilers up again.
Yeah, I'm going to flip it over to
Yes.
Perk to talk about those, and
Okay.
I'll put a spoiler tag up. So feel free to mute in the time being, and we'll take the spoiler tag off once it is safe.
Yep. Okay. So, as we data mined back in November, we knew that Varian was killed in action, and Anduin in Stormwind is the king, and that Vol'jin is missing in action, and Sylvanas is the war chief. But the alpha didn't actually update the new NPCs into the zones until this past weekend. So we can confirm that Anduin is in the Stormwind throne room as the king. Sylvanas is in Undercity as the war chief. And this was a total new surprise to me. The High Overlord Sourfang has taken over Vol'jin's throne in Orgrimmar. So I guess he's the leader of the orcs, which I think is totally awesome for him, how he would guard the city and, cleave everyone in his path. We also found Forsaken guards in the Horde area of Dalaran. Previously, there were the Sun Reavers, but if you did the Miss of Pandaria questline, you'll understand why the Sun Reavers are no longer in Dalaran. And we also data mined some quests that point to Nazgrim, who was like a big warrior lore figure, being raised as a Death Knight as part of some of these Order Hall quest chains. So that's really interesting because there's a lot of feedback that there aren't a lot of, major warrior lore figures. And it seems weird to take one that was clearly this awesome warrior, throughout all these expansions and turn him into a Death Knight. But we haven't actually done the quest on the alpha yet, but we've just found a lot of references in the data to something like this happening. So I don't know about that last change. I think it would be cool if there were the ghosts of warriors like Varian and Nazgrim and Garrosh even were in the warrior order hall, because that's it's very sparse on NPCs right now. So I feel like keeping the ghosts of them in the warrior hall would make more sense than giving Death Knights another cool, figure.
They might not need that. Who knows? What do you think?
Yeah.
We're good with the tag, or keep the tag up?
If you have nothing to comment on that, I think we can get rid of the tag.
I guess my only comment is that I agree, and that there are no good warrior, all the warrior lore figures that we do have are bad guys. So,
yeah, or they're dead.
Or they're dead. So
Yeah.
it does seem a little. It does seem kind of crappy that there's a Death Knight. Plus, we're missing Vol'jin. What if Vol'jin comes back as a Death Knight too? What if that's the common theme of this expansion, where Sylvanas is oh no, my people can't reproduce. Whatever will we do? Raise them all into Death Knights.
Yeah, this is all these conspiracy theories being are there 4 horsemen? Is Nazgrim one of them? Is Varian going to be one of the 4 horsemen?
Oh no. Oh,
so,
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm sad.
I don't know.
I'm
okay,
sad.
professions.
We're done. Professions.
You're done. Happy stuff.
We talked a lot about professions last week, and I'm actually surprised because every time I talk about professions, people seem to be really excited about it.
I know. So that's good for us.
So, of course, we're excited to talk about these. There were some new recipes added to the Dalaran sewers.
Yeah. So we talked about before how they added all these visual updates to the sewers and how it's a PvP area and how you get these coins and you can turn them into bribe the guards to PvP or turn it into PvE again. And they added vendors to this PvP area, and you need those special coins to buy stuff. Now, I was able to get all the coins without killing a single person, so it can be done.
It can be done.
You can just kill rare spawns or open chests. But some of them were really cool recipes. There was a flaming hoop, and your pet jumps through the flaming hoop. There was a leather pet leash from
I love
Leatherworks.
that.
I know. It was so cute. We should video for that next week.
Yes.
And the coolest thing I saw was the Dalaran citizens costumes. You put down a chest and you click on the chest and you get a disguise that fits the theme of Dalaran.
That's cool.
And I went through 6 different disguises.
That's neat.
And the test lasted for like a really long time, like 15 minutes. So
is that the same one that we were talking about last week that your whole raid could use?
yeah, exactly. But we couldn't try them out yet. So now we finally got one of
Now
them.
we know.
I think there's like a Karazhan one and a Molten Core version.
That's awesome.
We don't know how to get those yet, but I really like the Dalaran one. I was excited to try it out. There was also a purple jelly pet, and one of the not
that was one of the cephalopods.
Yeah. And now it's purple jelly, and it's very cool looking.
That's like
do you want to talk?
That's my favorite World of Warcraft conspiracy of all time. Is like, we're just not naming them biologically. No more cephalopods. Everybody's jelly now. There was also a bunch of new updates for engineering, and engineers can craft little robot reavers, which look like the Felsteel Annihilators, and they do a lot more than like Jeeves or anything like that, including like do they make a Blingtron?
I think they become Blingtron. There's like a Blingtron edition it has.
Oh my god, that's cool. So they function as like a Jeeves and a Blingtron. They also have snacks. They're an anvil. They have fireworks. They can be a mailbox. They can be a wormhole, which is like kind of like a teleporter. They can repair. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Seriously, so cool. Like, they do everything, and I don't know, engineering is always, like, the coolest profession if you're just not into making money with your profession. But they're so cool, and they do so many cool things, so that one's really awesome. Plus, I like that they're doing reavers, and I almost feel like, I know it's not, but we had that bug in the game where you could hear reaver noises constantly in
I wonder if that was meant to hype you up for the alpha, because I think that stopped the day the alpha started.
Right? And then, like, all of a sudden, the coolest thing that engineers can do is like a little reaver, and I don't know, we've seen a lot of that between like Burning Crusade, and then of course we had like Iron Reaver in Hellfire Citadel, so I think it's like a cute little nod back to all of that. You can also port around Dalaran with your new wormhole generator, which I guess is less useful than previous versions of wormhole generators.
I mean, maybe it's meant to just like introduce you to a new part of the city, or maybe there'll be hidden places. I would like that. I like hidden places.
Yeah, that's always fun when you can do stuff that other people can't do. Plus, they also make some new pets, which we showed Trigger a couple weeks ago, which I can't get over that name. Like, I am going to every time somebody says something that makes me angry in game, I'm gonna have a macro that like is like triggered and brings out the little like trigger guy. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And then there's also a knockoff Blingtron pet, which this expansion, of course, you could get the little. I mean, it was essentially a knockoff Blingtron pet.
Little bling.
Yeah, little bling, and this is like the newer version of that, which you'll get from the Reaver, correct? He's like, do you actually okay? That's what I thought.
He'll get that from there's a Blingtron 6000, so I assume that his.
Oh, I hope he fights the previous Blingtrons. Does he fight the previous?
I don't know. There's so many of them now.
I hope they all fight, please. Please all fight. That would be so great. There's also the Failure Detection Pylon, which is the greatest name ever. And what that is an engineering mass res. Because, of course, only certain specs and classes will have mass res next expansion. That won't be guild perk anymore. And apparently engineers. Well, of course, it probably won't work every time because such is engineering.
I think there's some sort of cooldown. Yeah.
There's also the Sonic Environment Enhancer, which allows you to play music scrolls.
Yeah,
but
and
it's not a
make
jukebox.
them.
Yeah, is it a jukebox? It is. It's like Legion's version of the jukebox.
I feel like it is, but it's not implemented yet. But in the data, there are 3 inscription scrolls that, like the titles of the scrolls are 3 of the jukebox tracks, like Lament of the Highborn and Darnassus.
So I wonder if there's a way that you'll be able to bind the scrolls in that way.
Yeah, I'm also curious because like people are like, oh no, not as many money-making opportunities for glyphs, but maybe if scribes can make these song scrolls, that can be a new type of income.
I like kind of can see that, right? Except like I didn't get the jukebox in my garrison. That was way too much work for the reward. And then like on top of it, like okay, so you've gone and you've gotten your jukebox, right? And then it's like, well, go also farm out all of the individual scroll. Like I don't have.
So maybe it's easier now, but I don't know. I think people might be mad if the scroll from the Gurubashi arena was just like, oh, a scribe can make this now.
Right?
Just
Like,
kidding.
I
Yeah.
just, that doesn't seem right. I feel like they will make ways for scribes to make money, like, even without the whole glyph system being the way it is. Like, I'm not too worried about that because they already make things like offhands and I think trinkets. Plus, you can, minor glyphs are still a thing.
Plus,
And
there's the romance
the
novel toy.
yeah, the romance novel. Like, there's a lot of opportunities for that. And they can always do things where, like, maybe you won't be able to buy the paper, like the enchanting vellum. Maybe that only way that you can put an enchant on a scroll is to get this maybe specific scroll. Maybe it's not just this, maybe there's epic ones and there's blue ones. There's ways. There's ways, and it doesn't need to involve music. Blizzard. There's also the Blingtron Circuit tutorial minigame.
Yeah, there's an achievement tied to that, so I'm very curious to see what that entails.
I like
Like,
how many cute little mini games they've added so far.
there's like a Bejeweled one as well for jewel crafting, I think.
That's
So
really cute.
I am all about that.
Well, they had that a few years ago. They had the add-on, the Bejeweled
Yeah,
add-on.
ICC, like you could take Lanathel and do Bejeweled at the same time.
So good, so good. And we also have lost my point in the notes. There are recipes required for purchasing guns from vendors which have unique appearances. So can
Yeah,
you explain that a little bit?
sure. So, like if you're making a super epic gun, you have to buy a gun from a vendor, but it's not just like simple wood or like, anvil hammer. It's like, oh, this is a gun that's like eye level 650 and it has a unique model we haven't seen before. So like there's a lot of flavor in it. It feels like, oh, if I took this gun and I put doodads on it, I'd have a better gun versus
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
collect some boring stuff. Plus, they look nice for transmog anyway, and they have really funny names like, Fix It Upper or, like exploding thing. Like they just sound really funny. So I just thought that was a nice bit of flavor and they're used for a lot of things like the snack part of Reeves makes you like use Feast to make it. So I just sort of like it. It feels very realistic, like, oh, I'm an engineer, I just gonna grab, this pile of food and this crafted gun and stick them all together and
Food gun!
now I have a snack machine. So yeah.
So good. Everybody's favorite thing. I did a video this week about things that were coming in Legion, and I think everybody's favorite thing was the transmute meat to pants.
Yep. Exactly.
We also found out, we've talked a lot about how professions in Legion will have quests tied to them, and they're very lore intensive, and it's not just like, go pick flowers. It's
Yeah.
much more than that. And this build added some time questing for different professions.
Yeah, so you can do fishing, herbalism, skinning, or mining quests in each zone, and they added, it's sort of incomplete, but they added quests for other professions like enchanting and leatherworking, and they just sort of show up on your zone map with this unique profession icon. And if you like race there and do it before the time, ticks down, you get 80 artifact power.
Oh,
So
that's
that's pretty
cool.
cool.
That's a
Like
lot.
that's just another way to do artifact stuff if you need it for whatever reason. And it
Well, I
helps you
mean,
with
there's that's one of the things I've really liked so far about the Legion Alpha is that you can just pretty much anything you do, there's a way to earn artifact power. It doesn't feel like anyone was really left out in that
right.
thought process, which I really appreciate. Also, why I think alts are going to be a real viable option,
Yeah.
more so than they are in Warlords of Draenor. Speaking of alts, I have an alt hunter. Transition, new hunter pets.
Yeah.
So there's actually new hunter tames in Legion. There's the Oxen family, which lets you tame shovel tusks and yaks. There's the Scalehide family, which a lot of people are really excited about this, which will allow you to tame Mushan, Kodo, and Stegodon. And there are some new models for Kodos coming in Legion. And I'm surprised that we're getting this now, because that was a lot of stuff that we saw in Mists of Pandaria, so people can go back and get some stuff that they wanted to get from there. Plus, there are the mechanical tames, of course, with the addition of gnomes allowed to be hunters in Legion. Gnomes can tame mechanical pets along with goblins, and then other races of hunters can do, I think it's like a quest to learn how to tame mechanical pets.
Yeah, there's some sort of like engineering item that you get, and apparently the process, even if you have the item, like there is some sort of quest or thing you have to do.
And
So,
also,
yeah.
Sand Reavers are now part of the Silithid family, like the AQ20 bug boss. So lots of new hunter pets. My favorite is, I like really think it'd be hilarious to have a yak as your pet. Like that is
I think I think I love when people like match the mount and the pet and the hunter
Yes.
pet. So like now you could probably do that with there's a shovel tusk pet in Legion, so you could probably do like shovel tusk hunter tame and the shovel tusk pet, or like the yak, you could have the like grand yak mount and a hunter yak, but there's no baby yak pet. So
We
I feel when
want
you
baby
make yak,
yaks.
yeah.
Well, you could have the listen. Some of us don't have the Grand Expedition yak. Some of us have the blonde yak, the blonde riding yak. So, but I just think that's so funny because I just can't deal with the idea of a yak going and attacking things for you.
I know he seems very reluctant.
Right?
Maybe
Like
he'll have like his abilities will be like, I like raise health of the party, or like versatility.
versatility. But I do really like that they're adding like Kodo and Mushan because I feel like those are both very like believable hunter pets, particularly Kodo because my
Yeah.
first hunter ever was a Tauren and you get your Kodo mount and you fight a lot of Kodos and I think that'll be really neat. Is there a baby Kodo pet? I don't think there is.
I don't think there is one. Maybe like the Kodo's models were too big because there's like a little series of battle pets that aren't really pets because they're too big. Like I think gazelles, for example, or deer. Like so, I don't know. I
They
think it would
changed a bunch of those, but you're right. There are like weird gazelles and deers. There's also, I still feel like it's really strange that you can't have like, I don't know. I guess like a deer would be a bad hunter pet, but it would be kind of cool if hunters could tame those like non-vicious animals like a deer to like help them with herbalism or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right? I could see a little
Yeah.
deer like following around helping you pick flowers. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I've had a lot of coffee today. I'm just like out of it.
I think like there's the herbalism, there's the fox that drops the flowers,
Yes.
so it's not totally out of the blue.
Right? You'd have to have a little
Yeah.
skunk. That's the only way that would really make sense. Is a little fox, a little skunk, and a little bunny. Ah,
Yeah.
Bambi.
Aw,
Um, but aside from all of the alpha changes, we also saw some stuff going on live servers, like Love is in the Air. The
I am.
holiday...
You can tell me this as I'm moving around to not have the
Okay,
sun.
I know. I
destroy
feel
my
like
face.
it's dark here. It's pitch
I
dark
know.
here already. So, but the Love is in the Air event is going on currently. It began on I want to say the 15th and it goes through the 29th, and it of course allows you to do the Chemical Crown dungeon every day, which allegedly has the chance to drop the big love rocket, but. I'm not sure that I believe that. You can also get the little booger pet. I can't remember what it's called. The slimy guy, little booger. I don't know. There's also the Vile Fumigator's mask, which Blizzard really needs to make a cosmetic item because it's very cool and it doesn't have a whole lot of use right now, along with the Forever Lovely Rose. And I think right now the rings that drop are eye level 670, and their on use is Unleash the Power of Love, along with stats that would be equivalent to that of a 670 ring. You can also farm out love letters. What are they called? Do you know, Perk? Are you gone? Perk's gone. They're like these little love note things. I'm really bad at the names of things. I had to like help lead a raid last night, and it was like, so this guy's gonna come out and he's gonna do things, and you need to not get hit by those things. I'm terrible with names. But there's like little Valentine like love tokens. Are they called love tokens? I can't remember. Little things, and you can collect them to turn into a vendor, and you can buy things like there's a mount, there is pets. There are, I think there's a picnic toy. There's a few other things. It's a really cool event, and if you are lucky enough to get the Swift Lug rocket, like, both congratulations and I hate you. Because I've been trying to get that daily on 6+ characters for 8 years, and I don't think it exists. I have all the other holiday mounts except for that one. Also, going on currently is the bonus event Time Walking. It is Outland, which in my opinion is the best one, because that's Burning Crusade. You do have the chance to get the Infinite Time Reaver Dragon mount. Yeah, I got the name right. As well as you can save up to get. Oh, hi! You're in a completely different location. This is like a whole new perk. This is like a whole new perk. You can also save up to get the Ironbound Wraith Charger mount, or it's like a Dragon Hawk Strider.
Yeah, the Dragon Hawk Strider you can get this time, and it costs 5,000. And it's the Eclipsalon Dragonhawk because it looks like the ones you can get in Shadow Moon Valley.
Yep, very cool. There's also, of course, like toys and transmog / level like
the ever shifting mirror is very cool because it will be a toy in Legion, and it lets you go between like a relevant area in Draenor and Outland, and it's fun to like see how different things are because like one is like one location is outside the Alliance garrison, and then the Outland version is this very fell infested area. So it's like alternate reality fun.
Well, not only that too, but you can
Yeah.
actually use it to get out of combat. I was really excited
Yeah.
about that when I realized it, because if you like pull a bunch of stuff and you're in trouble, you can just use the ever shifting mirror, and then you're just not in trouble anymore. It's very cool. That also, if you do the event and you do, I think, 5 time walking dungeons, you'll get 500 valor. So if you're trying to farm
Yeah.
valor, it's worth doing. There's also a new book. It is coming out. I don't think it's out yet, and that's the World
It's
of
not out yet. You can
yeah.
pre-order.
That is the World of Warcraft Chronicle, Volume 1. It's like an art, and I don't think it's lore. It's just art, right?
I mean, there is lore in it actually. I mean, it's mostly art, but the lore, like, the art is very lore heavy, and I think we're getting a copy sent to us. So
Oh.
we'll be talking about this
I
more.
was just, hold on. You chat. I'll go grab our other art book because I want to show people how
Okay,
nice they
awesome.
are. Look, I'm wearing real pants. What is that?
Oh, awesome! Wow. So, World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 1 has this graphic that's been getting a lot of attention because it pits together all the different forces in Azeroth, and at the type it's like the Naru and Holy and Light, and at the bottom it's Shadow and the Voids and the Old Gods. And it's getting a lot of discussion because we're actually seeing the relationship between all these different things like Fel and the Arcane, and how did Titans fit in the Burning Legion and the Wild Gods and Death. And people are just, they love this sort of lore. They're just, eating this up and trying to find any sort of connection going on in the graphic. And you can get a 21-page preview. You can download it from Dark Horse. And yeah, the preview talks about a bunch of things like, you can read about like Laitian and troll lore. You can read about how the old gods came into being. You can read about the elemental lords like Ragnaros, and Neptulon and Therazane. You even hear a little bit about the War of the Ancients and Illidan in this preview. So yeah, the artwork is gorgeous. Just looking at the preview that I've seen, and yeah, I can't wait to look at it.
Yeah, well, this one isn't actually made by Dark Horse. This is the first World of Warcraft art book that was super nice. But just as an idea of the type of thing you can expect, and I just opened this up. Some of it is like, I don't know. Their art books are really, really nice. Like, if you appreciate this kind of stuff, like, this will be worth getting. This is not the one we're talking about. This was the first one that came out. The one that's coming out is the Chronicles of Warcraft, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's actually in the link on Amazon. It is currently to pre-order $23.99.
Oh, so it's not going to be a big honking thing like this.
Well, the full price is $40.
Oh,
so buy it now.
Get it cheap.
And it will come out on March 15th, 2016. And if you go to Dark Horse's website, you can get a preview and see what it's like yourself. There's a really funny map in the preview where it shows the aftermath of the Akir and Troll War. And there's a lot of troll areas, and people were like, all I see are like 100 more troll raids, like excuses for troll raids.
Yes.
So,
wait, is somebody saying they have a problem with troll raids because...
It was Zorbrix. He does QA at Blizzard. I don't know. Maybe like a troll raid had a really bad bug or something.
Listen, I would love more troll raids. I thought all the raids we've had thus far with trolls in them were very fun, but I'd be flipping out, man. One other thing that I added to the notes last minute is that the gold transfer rate has been increased. So if you server transfer now, you can transfer with up to 250,000 gold, which is hugely increased. I think 50 was the maximum before. So that's a huge, huge deal because a lot of people are, WoW millionaires and like big ballers and like have had to do a lot of weird things in order to move more currency over.
You buy a battle pet that you think is really expensive and you sell it on the new server.
Yeah, you like learn it, or you buy a bunch of mounts and like then bring them over to sell, and then if you're lucky, the economy is decent on said new server. So it's really nice that they did up that because it's going to make people more interested in transferring. Which is good. And then this is something Perk has been waiting to talk about.
Yay.
But it's Pepe's 3rd birthday. We both have little cupcake hats on our Pepes.
He is excited.
Very cute.
So, Pepe is 3 years old as of Wednesday. And if you're like, well, Warlords isn't 3 years old, that's because Pepe originated as art for a student 3D project. And the creator of Pepe, Jordan Powers, posted his old Facebook message from 3 years ago where he's like, oh, I'm working on this art project and this house needed some more characters, so I made a bird and I call him Pepe and he is a real boss. And obviously, Pepe is because he has hats and he has a plush and everyone loves him. So good job, Pepe.
Yep.
Um, and if you're like, what is Pepe? I don't know, maybe you're watching for the first time. Pepe is a little bird and he's found in all versions of your garrison. And if you click on him, he will sit on your head for 60 minutes with the Pepe buff. And the buff also says that he wants to be your friend. And you can get a permanent Pepe with the transdimensional bird whistle from What a Strange Interdimensional Trip It's Been, which means you have to kill a lot of bosses with Pepe on your head and not die. And there is a gnome in Spires of Iraq whose name is Jorik's Power Spark, and it's a gnome that's wearing Pepe, so that's a clear tribute to the creator. And Pepe shows up with a ninja disguise in the Rogue Order Hall in Legion, which I'm very excited about. Pepe is in my order hall. And Pepe has costumes which have inspired the little, cupcake hat that he has. You can
Mine
get
was
a
wearing... Oh, go ahead. No, not important.
So mine was in game. You can get a scarecrow costume, a tiny pirate hat, a plated helm, a ninja shroud, or a Viking helmet for Pepe. And Pepe is also a plush on the Blizzard Gear Shop. Obviously, his head rotates. And
oh my gosh, that was like Exorcist levels of head rotation, Perk.
Sorry, Pepe. Just people. Some people are surprised when his head rotates, but his head rotates, and he has clippy feet. And he's normally $20, but you can get him 15% off with the code Wowhead15. And you should show off your hats.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to do, just failing. We have, these are made by Precious Mage on Twitter, and it's spelled phonetically, so it's like Preshus Mage. And she made us the cupcake one. Very cute. And then this one is so adorable. Here, let me show you. This is important. This is important breaking news, guys. This is the Spartan helmet for Pepe. So, like, he's ready for battle for sure. And then we also have, and is the Murloc Pepe hat still giveaway going?
Yeah, I'm actually, Precious and I have a giveaway going on my Twitter where, we're giving away a Pepe and a blue Murloc hat if you, RT my tweet and follow us both on Twitter, and, picking the winners sometime after this show on Friday. It's so cute. That was the first hat. He's so adorable.
So cute. And then I actually made her, I was like, can you make me a hat that you're not making yet? And I commissioned her to make me a little BB-8 hat for Pepe because he has
that's so cute.
He has like a BB-8 body, so he's like,
yeah,
so cute. That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
that's my favorite one.
And then
She's sending me a Deadpool one too. Like pose. So we really like Pepe in these parts. So Perk, once more, how do they enter your giveaway of a Pepe and a Murloc hat?
Find the tweet. It's towards the top.
Go on the scavenger hunt.
Yeah, find me at twitter.com/Perculia. And RT the tweet that is like, happy birthday, Pepe. I am giving away a Pepe. And do what it says. RT that, and then follow me and Precious Mage.
Yep, and also apparently Precious Mage, if you are interested in getting a hat for your Pepe, she's doing $5 off through Monday to celebrate his birthday. So if you want to get one, now's a good time to do it. And she has all sorts of designs, and she's also been really great about commissioning custom ones for people. Someone in chat said that they made her a Fez-themed one for Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's adorable. Has like a little bow tie under his chin.
So they're all super, super cute. Next week I'll have my Deadpool Pepe hat, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, we really like Pepe in these parts, and we spare no expense. I'll let you talk a little bit about GCD TV, and then we'll talk about Wild Bangarang leggings.
Yeah, awesome. So as we've mentioned a few times, Wowhead is really excited to be sponsoring GCD TV and their spring tournament for the EU pro players, and Tournament 2 is going on this weekend. They had the qualifiers today, and I believe the main event is still going on for Saturday the 27th and Sunday the 28th, if there's no internet issues, and you can find all of that on Twitch at GCD TV, and that starts at 6:30 p.m. Central Eastern, 12:30 Eastern, or 9:30 a.m. Pacific. And just as some background, GCD TV was created to form a community around World of Warcraft esports with the goal to create a competitive atmosphere for players while providing an exciting and easy to understand broadcast. And you may have seen them doing a lot of stuff with BlizzCon, like they were at the North American qualifiers, the regional tournaments. They even did stuff for Heroes of the Storm. So they do a lot of things, and they've been really good about promoting our PvP talent calculator and getting, like, really top tier players to share, builds they want to use for Legion and write a little bit of guides on that. So we're really excited to be working with them because we try to, collaborate with people who do different things in the community, and esports was an area we want to do more stuff with. So, follow them on Twitter. It's GCDTV _ or follow them at Twitch at GCDTV.
Yay!
And yeah, on to the merchandise.
Yay! So we should have these next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
But you guys probably remember when we modeled Wild Bangerang leggings.
Very graceful.
Really, there's a reason that we host a podcast about World of Warcraft and we're not on the runways of Paris. I'll put it that way. But we do have new pairs coming, and we collaborated on which ones we were getting so that we would have 4 different pairs between the two of us. But Wild Bangerang came out with a new series of officially licensed World of Warcraft leggings. So WoW is in on this. They're not just copy and pasting World of Warcraft designs without World of Warcraft's permission. So they are officially licensed, and they are effing awesome. Excuse my language. And these ones are the Arthas key art. Those are the class symbols. Those are the Frostfire ones. That's the new Horde design. Those are the Sylvanas armor. Those are the Sylvanas key art, the Alliance new logo, the Arthas armor, and there's a coupon to get 15% off.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say they're not only available, because Wild Bangerang is actually a company that is based in the UK, but since they are officially licensed, they're teamed up directly with Blizzard, so you can buy these now in the Blizzard store, so the gear.blizzard. What is it? Help me. Great.
Yeah.
I thought I was screwing the whole thing up, and now I just looked down. That's fine. It was almost close. So if you live in the US, it's worth buying it from the gear shop directly from Blizzard. If you live anywhere else, it's probably worth it getting it from the Wild Bangerang website. They are the same price, $55 per pair plus shipping. But if you do buy them from the Blizzard shop, you can get 15% off through the end of this month by using code WOWHEAD15. So if you do really want a pair of those, which I highly recommend, because they're awesome. I
wanted to get the armor for Sylvanas and Arthas. And which ones did you want to get?
I got the class shields, or the class
crest.
The class crest. I'm bad at words. Words are not coming easily to me today. I got the class crest, and I also got the Frostfire ones because I didn't want to get the same ones as Perk. And a lot of people are probably like, why didn't you get the Horde ones? And that's because PSA leggings aren't pants. And the Horde design was up on the butt hip area, and if I wore shorts or something long, it would cover half the design anyways. So because I do not choose to wear leggings as pants, I chose ones that I would be able to wear and it wouldn't ruin the design. I was really excited about the Class Crest ones, and I already have the Fellfire ones, so I'm excited about the Frostfire ones because I know they're awesome. So.
Yeah, I have the Infernal ones too, and I have the really elaborate pair for the Alliance. So I guess on this line they wanted to offer options for people that wanted to go all out and have the fantasy armor, but then offer a simple version if you just want more of a solid with art on your thigh.
Well, in the original line they had Horde and Alliance inspired armor leggings, which are awesome.
Yeah,
and the Horde ones are very savage looking. They have leather and fur and bones, and they sort of look strapped together and very made on the fly. And then the Alliance ones are armor, and there's a belt and a gem.
There's still a lot of stuff. There's chainmail.
Oh,
and it's gold and silver and different shades of blue and black and white. And I have the Alliance ones. They are pretty cool. They have a lot going on.
Yeah, so do the Horde ones. The Horde ones are awesome. There's a picture on my Instagram, although it's terrible because my dog, I didn't realize, was peeing in the background. So
I'm also going to move back because we're going to talk about merchandise, and I have a light in my eye.
Okay, so Perk's moving back, but we're really excited about the Wild Bangarang leggings, and hopefully we will have ours here for the next show so that we can show them off to you guys. If you want to see our original pairs, there's pictures on our Twitter as well as like my Instagram, which all of my internets are trade chat if you didn't know. Although if you're offended by dogs peeing, I mean, probably don't look at the picture of mine because my dog photobombed that. That's what he does. On to pop merchandise, which I'm very
we should just talk about the. I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
We have sweaters on, and these are on sale now at the Blizzard Gear store as well.
Yeah.
Like what we are wearing.
Yes.
So, the Alliance and Horde sweaters, which are knit, they have like cool stripes on the sleeves.
Yeah, mine is puffed up because I have super long arms.
Yeah.
Even a medium, like.
And you can see how like the inside has the knit. It's not just like we iron something on. And even what our little collared shirts are on sale as well. We have Hearthstone logos on ours.
Yep. So I'm not flashing anybody. I'm just showing you the shirt. I'm just showing you the shirt. Take it down a notch. But these are like nice, like chiffon, like kind of sheer blouses. This is the one with the Hearthstone design. We also have ones with a Warcraft design on them as well. But they look really nice under the sweaters. Perk and I didn't plan that. We planned to wear the sweaters, but I told her, I was like, oh, did you see I wore my Hearthstone blouse? She was like, I'm wearing
mine. And I'm like, you see? Like, you know. Yeah.
So, yeah, they look really nice together. I know Perk's wearing a small and I am wearing a medium. The chiffon shirts are not machine washable, but you can wash them in a dry L bag because I did. And the sweaters are machine washable. I would not dry either of them, though. That just seems like you're asking for all sorts of trouble. This is something I've been really waiting to talk about a lot. Every week I just try to talk about Overwatch in the Wowhead Weekly podcast because I'm a rebel, but Overwatch is amazing. I can't wait for that game to launch so that everybody can play it and revel in its glory because it's a very, very fun, very addicting game. And I'm so excited because, as you guys may or may not know, I'm a big pop collector. I have, like, a lot.
I do not have as much as you, but I still have a few. Like, I have some of the SECC ones, and I think an Illidan, so.
Like, okay, do you see that shelf? Can you see that? That's, like, maybe half of what I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a real problem at this point, and it's going to get worse because I'm getting all of the Warcraft movie ones, and now they went and announced Overwatch, and the Overwatch ones are amazing. So far, we know that Tracer, Reaper, Widowmaker are all coming, plus a supersized 6-inch Winston pop. I'm like, I think that's adorable.
That Soldier 76 was coming as well, but he was exclusive somewhere. I forget the detail. There's
usually 6 in a collection, so there'll probably be 2 exclusives. There'll probably be like one at maybe GameStop and then one at, I don't know, Loot Crate does a lot of exclusives, and they've been doing a ton of stuff with Blizzard lately, because I know like they just started Loot Gaming, and Loot Gaming has a Heroes of the Storm item in it. They had one a couple months ago. There might be one coming up in the future. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, so hopefully maybe they'll do one like that. But I think there'll be 2 exclusives. I think it'll be Soldier 76. And if I had to guess the other one, I would think it would be Mercy. Just...
Oh, that'd be so cool with the little wings. She would be adorable.
I know.
I want Mercy.
I know. So there's usually 6 in a collection, though. So I kind of think we're going to see 2 more. Like, one will probably be from GameStop. I really feel like one will be from GameStop. I don't know about the other one. Maybe BlizzCon?
That would be cool. Like, didn't they gave us one of the mystery minis for BlizzCon last year.
Yeah.
Right, they keep it deadly, so I think that would make sense.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm really excited because I will be buying all of them. Rip wallet. So
yeah, I guess that's about it for the news.
That's about it. We say that like we haven't been talking for an hour and 15 minutes straight. No big deal. But I changed my Pepe's hat, so our Pepes don't match anymore. My Pepe's a little... No, he's cute. He's a little robot.
Yeah. They are both very cute.
Yeah, I love the BB-8 hat that Precious made me. I can't wait to get the Deadpool one for Dead Pepe.
I have a BB-8 dress that came in this week, so I want to get the picture of the Pepe with the hat and me in the dress, and that will be very cute.
Pepe's like the softest plushie ever, too. Like, I don't know what kind of fur they used for him, but it's like... very
it's like
soft.
Very huggable even after several months. Like, I carry this Pepe around everywhere.
She does. It's true. Yeah. I don't want to like say that Perk needs an intervention or anything like that, but you have a lot of Pepe pictures in your life.
You keep retweeting all of them.
They're so cute. We did get a couple questions. Someone asked what is happening with Elemental Shaman shields. They've only seen one in the dressing room. Are there different colors? Yeah.
They added a bunch, actually. If you go to the artifact weapon calculator, for Elemental Shaman and you click on the Appearance tab, we added a thing where it shows all the models and the offhands, and if you click on all the little colors, there's a lot more updates now. So, like, the lava versions of the Elemental Shaman weapon, like, the shield has a little lava ball in the center of that now, and the Titan ones, it comes in the Titan colors, and I think the glow is a little different, so... Yeah, I think a few are missing colors, but there are a lot more. I think last week just added a bunch of them. So definitely check that out
So
in the art.
here's a question for no reason, Perk. I mean, no reason at all. But are your Pepe's wings still attached to his body?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
so
they are.
I accidentally just broke one of my strings, so now my Pepe could fly away if he wanted to. Look at his.
Oh no.
Wait.
Oh no.
I mean, they're still attached. They just
Yeah,
had this one little
yeah.
string holding them down, and I may have just ripped that. So now my Pepe's ready to fly. His wings have been
Yeah.
clipped.
I know other people that have Pepe's, and I've seen they post pictures of him in a hat, and like his wings are a little off to the sides. But yeah, mine are still.
Well.
He has not flown off yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Are shamans still using totems? Yes, and totems next expansion are way better than they are this expansion.
Yeah.
It's like you have an
Something we're
arsenal of cooldowns.
Something we're working on now actually is a video series just previewing all the new cool spell animations and effects.
Yeah, because
and
there's a lot.
yeah, I was going through Shaman yesterday and it's like, oh, here's a talent where like there's a new totem and it's like erupting lava. So they definitely want like the visual effects of cool Shaman talents to be tied to
Yeah.
totems being very cool.
And if you do play an elemental shaman and you're interested, if you go to my Facebook page, which is Trade Chat on YouTube, I uploaded a video of a side-by-side of the elemental shaman current animation and the elemental shaman next expansion animation, which also includes the new mastery, because the mastery currently has like the rocks that shoot out of the ground and the next expansion's animation is like another little lightning bolt, which makes a ton more sense because basically elemental shaman mastery next expansion is just multi-strike, which I am a-okay with. Oh my gosh, can you say anything about the Legion Mac OS? Well, that's kind of hard. Somebody asked about graphics performance. That's kind of hard to do because everything on alpha is very subject to change and it doesn't always work the way it would work on live, so we try not to
usually Mac builds like also lag, like they're just not as polished as Windows builds. Like the PTR I don't think works right now on Macs. So yeah, I mean I've been having problems on my Mac getting things to work, so I might need to look into it, but it's usually rough at the start of the PTR, just judging performance.
Yeah, so it's like it's one of those things that's hard to judge. But if you're interested, last week we showed a side-by-side graphic, which I can upload like to my Twitter or something if you want to see it, that shows the differences directly, and it's also on wowhead.com.
Yep. And also Blizzard support, which is where we get the information from.
And this isn't anything to do with WoW, but somebody asked about cross-platform play for Overwatch, and no, that's been answered. Overwatch will and if you're interested in Overwatch, just let me put this in here. If you're interested in Overwatch, I make an Overwatch video series. It's called Overking's Wednesday Watch. It's like every other Wednesday, but Blizzard has actually commented on the cross-platform functionality for Overwatch, and each system will have their own ecosystem, I guess is what you could call it. So if your friend is on PlayStation 4 and you're on PC, you guys can't play together. They can play with other people on PlayStation 4, Xbox can play with other people on Xbox, PC can play with other people on PC, but it's not cross compatible. Yeah. So, okay, we have to go. It's getting late. I'm sorry. Before we do, I do want to thank everybody who is subscribed to our Twitch podcast. We appreciate it so much. That also gives you access to our little emotes, which is the Pepe, as well as the little Wowhead rocket. It'll also give you a Wowhead rocket next to your name when you talk, which is adorable. And for everybody who subscribes to our YouTube channel, follows us on Twitch, watches our videos, checks out the website, thank you so much. And thank you especially to those of you who subscribe to Wowhead Premium, which is a monthly subscription to Wowhead that removes all the ads from the website, in addition to allowing you to track quests, customize your Today in Draenor, give you a special color when you talk in the comment section or on the forums, as well as lots of other perks. Plus all of that goes directly to support wowhead.com, and it removes removes ads, like I said earlier, which is the best thing ever. So thank you so much to all of those things. Thanks for watching us. We'll be here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, which is 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And if you aren't able to make it live, we do upload it the following day at youtube.com/wowhead. We are going to go. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.